Hello, I'm Victoria Hart, the editor of Mortgage Solutions. Welcome to the first in a series of Mortgage Solutions Market Snapshots, interviews with influential commentators from around the industry. First up is Dominic Toller, Managing Director of PropertyEarth.net, the consumer website for buyers looking for chain-free properties. Dominic launched the site just under a year ago, after nearly 20 years working in the mortgage and property industries for conveyancer LMS, Bank of Ireland and Bristol and West. Rents have already been increasing for a while. A figure I saw is that on average rents have risen £300 in recent weeks. Is this the start of another boom for the buy-to-let sector?
Sort of got two conflicting things there, haven't you? If you've got on one side you say with CGT changes will that put investors off, but the other, well, if rents are going up, is that attractive? I guess the difference is that if rents are starting to go up a little bit and prices are coming down, that increases the yield, the return you're going to get on an investment property. So for some people, particularly I would say people looking for income over the medium to long term, I think that's still a very attractive market. I think what we will see is that for people who are looking for a short-term reward in terms of the price going up, I think it's less attractive. So particularly if you've got cash, so you're not reliant on large mortgages, I think buying investment property for the medium to long term for income is going to be a very attractive proposition. Yes.
Why did you decide to launch PropertyEarth.net?
I launched it. I started working about a year and a half or so ago, and the reason was that I felt there was a gap in the market for. I was looking at what was going on, and there was an increase in repossessions. If you look at the way the population's going, and an elderly population, there was an increase in probate cases where sort of properties come on the market when people have died, and those all fall under the bracket of chain-free property. And yet it was actually quite hard to find those. If you go onto the normal websites, finding repossessions, for example, is actually quite hard. And yet I think there are a lot of people out there that would be, for whom it's a very appropriate purchase. So my intention was, well, to bring those all together, go directly to the source. So in the case of a repossession, that's the bank. Bring them all into one website and make it easier for consumers to find.
How many of the website's buyers are residential and how many are professional investors?
It's difficult to say exactly. The last sort of research we did, 48% were cash buyers, which would imply they were definitely investors. There aren't many people buying purely for cash for owner-occupiers. So, when I launched this and developed it, I actually thought we would be targeting predominantly property investors. But in reality, what's happened is there are quite a lot of first-time buyers, movers, parents looking to help their kids in university, and for all those groups, repossessions and chain-free property can actually be quite a good buy. So in fact, we've got a much broader audience than I'd anticipated.
What can your service offer to brokers in particular?
Well, when we launched this service in July, what a broker in effect will be able to do is go back to their clients, particularly their buy-to-let clients, and if someone's got a portfolio around the country and they're looking to sell, a dozen properties, if they introduce them to us, first of all, we will locate the best and most appropriate agent in every postcode area for those individual properties. There's a limit to what we can charge for that, so I don't think that will provide an income stream to the broker. But then what we'd like to do is take those onto the market. We will instruct the estate agents on behalf of the client. The client will be able to use our system to log on to the site and monitor the progress of each of those individual sales with each of those estate agents. So use us like as a portal, if you like. We'll also hold documents on there like the valuation document that the estate agent produced. And then on completion, when the estate agent gets paid, and Property Earth has a percentage of that fee, and we will then pass a chunk of that on to the broker. So it's sort of like a procuration fee in a way for estate agency, which I don't think is a concept that really exists today. But we think that it's something that we can bring to the marketplace, and I'm very excited about launching that out to brokers in a month or so's time.
And finally, where is the property market heading in the next 5 years?
I'm afraid my personal view is a little bit pessimistic, actually, and I think that I think we're heading for some more tough times. I think that we will see prices come down in the property market. I think it's inevitable; they have to come down. I think there's too big a difference anyway between property prices and average earnings in this country. It's making it so hard for people to get onto the ladder. And I think whilst finance is still hard to come by, which it is for a lot of people, with an increase in supply, not an increase in buyers, I think prices will be driven down. And the big one that's hanging over, of course, is interest rates. And at some point in time, interest rates are going to have to go up in the next 5 years, and that will put more pressure on homeowners, both existing and people looking to get on the ladder. So personally, I see it as going to be certainly the next three years, I think, are going to be tough. Sorry.
That's great. Thanks very much, Don.